Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to speak on behalf of the Green Party. I started 2011 by saying that I was looking forward to this election year as an opportunity to put the Green Party's positive vision for Aotearoa in front of the nation. Throughout 2011, in good times and in bad, the Green Party has sought to move beyond the blame game and present positive solutions and alternatives to the difficult issues our country faces. New Zealand is a great country, and we in the Greens love it, and we want to make it even better. I want a fair future where care workers on night shifts get paid the legal minimum wage for doing the important work of looking after our disabled, sick and elderly, and I'm glad this Parliament has resolved this issue this afternoon. I want a future where all our children can enjoy our country and swim in our rivers because they are clean and free of pollution. And I want a future where we live in warm, insulated houses that use 100% renewable energy and are built by Kiwis who have ridden the wave of the clean, green economy. We will deliver this future by doing things differently and making the transition to the clean, green, smart green economy. This is what New Zealanders deserve, and that's what the Greens will deliver. The recent double downgrade by Standard & Poor and Fitch is actually a vote of no confidence in the government's management of the economy. This term of Parliament, unfortunately the government has made some poor economic decisions and the credit downgrade has been part of the result. The Finance Minister has done a good job in many respects, but there are many decisions that we haven't agreed with in terms of economic management. But more importantly, aside from dealing with the economic challenges of today, we believe the government hasn't delivered a plan that seizes the economic opportunities of tomorrow, particularly in the space of the smart green economy. The Greens have produced such a plan, and we look forward to the election campaign debating it. Our pragmatic economic strategy would transition the New Zealand economy to maximise our biggest natural advantage, our clean green reputation and expertise. We'll ramp up the Heat Smart Home Insulation program, ensuring it's rolled out to a further 200,000 homes over the next 3 years, employing 4,000 people. We will retain state ownership of our state-owned enterprises while creating the right incentives for them to partner with clean tech entrepreneurs in the private sector. That's the kind of partnership we want. And develop renewable energy solutions we can patent and export abroad. Renewable energy is actually one of New Zealand's most promising export potentials. With the right incentives in place, we can be a player in the global market in renewable energy solutions, creating thousands of good green jobs and significant export income. Through a mix of government procurement policies, tax incentives, start-up funding and $1 billion boost to research and development, we'll support small to medium-sized enterprises to step up and drive new job creation in the clean tech sector. That's what we're looking forward to. This is a realistic and achievable plan, and it's about our country's future. Now, our rivers and lakes are part of what makes New Zealand such a great place to be. Healthy rivers are also essential to our economy. But our rivers and lakes are under threat, and we haven't actually really seriously started the process of cleaning them up yet. Half our monitored lakes and rivers are unsafe for swimming, about a third of our lakes are unhealthy, 2/3 of our freshwater fish are at risk or threatened with extinction, which is a terrible legacy to pass on to our children, and it's not something that the Green Party is willing to pass on to the next generation. We will implement robust standards for clean water that set limits to the amount of water that can be taken from our rivers and lakes and the pollution going into them. This will include a minimum standard for intensive agricultural practice. Perhaps one of the most difficult problems our country faces in terms of an environmental issue is diffuse pollution, and the Green Party is one of the few parties that has the courage to grasp that particular nettle. We will also use price signals to incentivise the efficient use of water by putting a fair price on its commercial use. That is another thing that so far this Parliament has not grasped. The revenue raised from such a price can be used to actually begin the clean-up project. This is a plan that's good for our economy and for our environment. Mr. Speaker, the first victims of an unequal society and an unfair economy are children. 270,000 children live in poverty in New Zealand. That's 1 in 4 Kiwi kids. International research puts the cost of not acting to address child poverty at around 3% of GDP per year. And that is something that we have not got on top of in this parliament. So bringing kids out of poverty is a priority for the Greens, and it makes economic sense as well as humanitarian sense. We'll make working for families work for every low-income family. We'd incorporate what's now called the in-work tax credit into the family tax credit and extend it to our poorest households, those who are on benefits. That would give an extra $60 a week to some of the poorest families in New Zealand. We'd also provide better support to sole parents and beneficiaries. Instead of pushing away the ladder of opportunity, as we've seen in this term of Parliament, the Green Party will make sure that there is a ladder of opportunity so that people can get an education. We'll make sure our rental properties are warm and healthy for kids, because 375,000 kids live in cold, damp houses, and that's not good enough. It makes them sick. We create insulation standards for rental properties to ensure that there are warm, healthy homes for thousands of children so they don't get sick from cold houses. And fourthly, we'd raise the minimum wage. It's almost impossible to make ends meet on the minimum wage. It's been tragic that this term of Parliament has not seen a big increase in the minimum wage. It needs to go up to $15 immediately to help working parents provide for the basics for their children. If we don't provide the basics for the next generation, we can hardly expect them to support us. Everything I've talked about today won't happen, however, if MMP is not retained in the upcoming referendum. MMP has delivered genuine change and has made a real difference. A third of our MPs are now women, there are more Māori in Parliament, and our democracy is now more representative of the people of New Zealand. MMP has delivered some good ideas like Kiwi Bank, paid parental leave and the home insulation scheme, which is on track to make 180,000 homes warm, dry and healthy. In this election, MMP is especially important. Smaller parties can act as an important constraint on unpopular policies, such as the sale of state assets. I'm looking forward to voting to keep MMP. I'm proud of what the Greens have achieved this parliamentary term, working both with and against the government. We stopped the mining in national parks, working alongside the broader Green movement. We pressured the government to setting up a Disabilities Commissioner and a High Hazards Unit for mining. We took on the other political parties to make public MPs' expenses and perks, and we won that battle. We've also found some common ground with the government this term and worked with them on the formal Memorandum of Understanding between the Green and National Party. Our biggest achievement together is the home insulation scheme, and we've made more than 100,000 homes warm and dry through better insulation and more efficient heating, creating 2,000 jobs in the process. We've also secured funding to clean up the Tui mine, trial pest control, and we've worked with the government on the New Zealand Cycleway, a great initiative. We've also broken the 20-year deadlock on natural health products regulation and developed legislation that passed unanimously at first reading. And those things, we would like to acknowledge the work working with the government on those particular projects, which we think are great projects. Mr Speaker, I'd like to thank you for your role in this parliamentary term. From the Green Party's point of view, it has been great, your intervention in question time, and we think it's made a real difference to improving our democracy. We'd like to thank all of the staff of Parliament. I'm not going to go through and list everyone, but we could not do our jobs with all of the staff, without all of the staff in Parliament. I'd also like to acknowledge the retiring Green MPs, Sue Kedzie and Keith Locke, who have made a huge contribution over a number of parliamentary terms. For a decade now, the Greens have shown that we can make change as an independent party in Parliament. The next Parliament, we hope, is an opportunity for more green change. Our vision is for a New Zealand that is richer in things that matter: strong communities, a beautiful environment and a clean, green economy that works for everyone. I believe New Zealand can be this country and that we can lead the change to a better world, and we are looking forward to making that happen.
The Honourable John